Welcome back to iSingPOP and another story here on Snug Stories. This evening we're going to read an extract from the story The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. So far in this story, Toad has escaped from prison disguised as a washerwoman. Now he is on his way back to Toad Hall feeling very pleased with himself. So grab a blanket, your favourite teddy, and snuggle down. Toad got so puffed up with conceit that he made up a song as he walked in praise of himself and sang it at the top of his voice, though there was no one to hear it but him. It was perhaps the most conceited song that any animal ever composed. The world has held great heroes, as history books have showed, but never a name to go down to fame compared with that of Toad. The clever man at Oxford know all that there is to be knowed, but they none of them know one half as much as intelligent Mr. Toad. The animals sat in the ark and cried, their tears in torrents flowed. Who was it said, there's land ahead, encouraging Mr. Toad? The army all saluted as they marched along the road. Was it the king or Kitchener? No, it was Mr. Toad. The Queen and her ladies in waiting sat at the window and sewed. She cried, look, who's that handsome man? They answered, Mr. Toad. There was a great deal more of the same sort, but too dreadfully conceited to be written down. There are some of the milder verses. He sang as he walked, and he walked as he sang, and got more inflated every minute. But his pride was shortly to have a severe fall. After some miles of country lanes, he reached the high road, and as he turned into it and glanced along its white length, he saw approaching him a speck that turned into a dot, and then into a blob, and then into something very familiar, and a double note of warning, only too well known, fell on his delighted ear. This is something like, said the excited Toad. This is real life again. This is once more the great world from which I have missed so long. I will hail them, my brothers of the wheel, and pitch them a yarn of the sort that has been so successful. And they will give me a lift, of course, and then I will talk to them some more. And perhaps, with luck, it may even end in my driving up to Toad Hall in a motor car. That will be one in the eye for Badger. He stepped confidently out into the road to hail the motor car, which came along at an easy pace, slowing down as it neared the lane, when suddenly he became very pale. His heart turned to water, his knees shook and yielded under him, and he doubled up and collapsed with a sickening pain. And well, he might, the unhappy animal, for the approaching car was the very one he had stolen out of the yard of the Red Lion Hotel on that fatal day when all his troubles began. And the people in it were the very same people he had sat and watched at luncheon in the coffee room. He sank down into a shabby, miserable heap in the road, murmuring to himself in despair, it's all up, it's all over now, chains and policemen again, prison again, dry bread and water again. Oh, what a fool I have been. What did I want to go strutting about the country for, singing songs and hailing people in broad day on the high road instead of hiding till nightfall and slipping home quietly by back ways? Oh, hapless Toad! Oh, ill-fated animal! The terrible motor car drew slowly nearer and nearer, till at last he heard it stop just short of him. Two gentlemen got out and walked round the trembling heap of crumpled misery lying in the road, and one of them said, oh dear, this is very sad. Here is a poor old thing, a washerwoman apparently, who has fainted in the road. Perhaps she is overcome by the heat, poor creature, or possibly she's not had any food today. Let us lift her into the car and take her to the nearest village, where doubtless she has friends. They tenderly lifted Toad into the motor car and propped him up with soft cushions and proceeded on their way. When Toad heard them talk in so kind and sympathetic a manner, he knew that he was not recognised. His courage began to revive, and he cautiously opened first one eye and then the other. Look, said one of the gentlemen, she is better already. The fresh air is doing her good. How do you feel now, Mum? Thank you kindly, sir, said Toad in a feeble voice. I'm feeling a great deal better. That's right, said the gentleman. Now keep quite still and above all, don't try to talk. I won't, said Toad. I was only thinking if I might sit on the front seat there beside the driver, where I could get the fresh air full in my face, I should be all right again." "What a very sensible woman," said the gentleman. "Of course you shall." So they carefully helped Toad into the front seat beside the driver, and on they went once more. Toad was almost himself again by now. He sat up, looked about him, and tried to beat down the tremors, the yearnings, the old cravings that rose up and took possession of him entirely. "It is fate," he said to himself. "Why strive? Why struggle?" And he turned to the driver at his side. "Please, sir," he said, "I wish you would kindly let me try and drive the car for a little. I've been watching you carefully, and it looks so easy and so interesting, and I should like to be able to tell my friends that once I had driven a motor car." The driver laughed at the proposal so heartily that the gentleman inquired what the matter was. When he heard, he said to Toad's delight, "Bravo, Mum, I like your spirit. Let her have a try and look after her. She won't do any harm." Toad eagerly scrambled into the seat vacated by the driver, took the steering wheel in his hands, listened with affected humility to the instructions given him, and set the car in motion, but very slowly and carefully at first, for he was determined to be prudent. The gentlemen behind clapped their hands and applauded, and Toad heard them saying, "How well she does it! Fancy a washerwoman driving a car as well as that the first time!" Toad went a little faster, then faster still, and faster. He heard the gentleman call out warningly, "Be careful, washerwoman!" And this annoyed him, and he began to lose his head. The driver tried to interfere, but he pinned him down in his seat with one elbow and put on full speed. The rush of air in his face, the hum of the engine, and the light jump of the car beneath him intoxicated his weak brain. "Washerwoman indeed!" he shouted recklessly. "Ho, ho! I am the Toad, the motorcar snatcher, the prison breaker, the Toad who always escapes. Sit still, and you shall know what driving really is, for you are in the hands of the famous, the skillful, the entirely fearless Toad." With a cry of horror, the whole party rose and flung themselves on him. "Seize him!" they cried. "Seize the Toad, the wicked animal who stole our motor car! Bind him and drag him to the nearest police station. Down with the desperate and dangerous Toad." Alas, they should have thought they ought to have been more prudent. They should have remembered to stop the motor car somehow before playing any pranks of that sort. With a half turn of the wheel, the Toad sent the car crashing through the low hedge that ran along the roadside. One mighty bound, a violent shock, and the wheels of the car were churning up the thick mud of the horse pond. Toad found himself flying through the air with the strong upward rush and delicate curve of a swallow. He liked the motion and was just beginning to wonder whether it would go on until he developed wings and turned into a toad bird, when he landed on his back with a thump in the soft, rich grass of a meadow. Sitting up, he could just see the motor car in the pond, nearly submerged. The gentleman and the driver, encumbered by their long coats, were floundering helplessly in the water. He picked himself up rapidly and set off running across country as hard as he could, scrambling through hedges, jumping ditches, pounding across fields till he was breathless and weary and had to settle down into an easy walk. When he had recovered his breath somewhat and was able to think calmly, he began to giggle. And from giggling he took to laughing, and he laughed till he had to sit down under a hedge. "Oh!" he cried in ecstasies of self-admiration. "Toad again! Toad, as usual, comes out on top. Who was it got them to give him a lift? Who managed to get on the front seat for the sake of fresh air? Who persuaded them into letting him see if he could drive? Who landed them all in a horse pond? Who escaped flying gaily and unscathed through the air, leaving the narrow-minded, grudging, timid excursionists in the mud where they should rightly be? Why, it was Toad, of course. Clever Toad, great Toad, good Toad." Then he burst into song again and chanted with uplifted voice. "The motor car went poop, poop, poop as it raced along the road. Who was it steered it into a pond? Ingenious Mr. Toad. Oh, how clever I am. How clever, how clever, how very clever." Just then, a slight noise at a distance behind him made him turn his head and look. Oh, horror. Oh, misery. Oh, despair. About 2 fields off, a chauffeur in his leather gaiters and 2 rural policemen were visible, running towards him as fast as they could go. Poor Toad sprang to his feet and pelted away again, his heart in his mouth. "Oh my," he gasped as he panted along. "What a conceited and heedless fool I've been! Swaggering again, shouting and singing songs again, sitting still and gassing again. Oh my, oh my, oh my, what a fool!" He glanced back and saw to his dismay that they were gaining on him. On he ran desperately but kept looking back and saw that they still gained steadily. He did his best, but he was a fat animal and his legs were short, so still they gained. He could hear them close behind him now. Ceasing to heed where he was going, he struggled on blindly and wildly, looking back over his shoulder at the now triumphant enemy, when suddenly the earth failed under his feet. He grasped at the air and splash! He found himself head over ears in deep water, rapid water, water that bore him along with a force he could not contend with, and he knew that in his blind panic he had run straight into the river. The end. I hope you enjoyed reading this story with me today. Join me next Friday for another story, and on Monday for plenty more iSingPOP fun. Good night, everyone. Sleep well.